Chapter 2, we're going to briefly talk about the court systems and the alternative dispute resolution system. That's really the key to this particular chapter. So the first section deals with just some different terminology that deal with our courts systems. So a jurisdiction is the court's ability to hear a case. So it could be, do they have jurisdiction over that person or that property, so what state is that person, living in and residing in. And then the same with businesses. What state are they incorporated in? That state of incorporation is what state would have jurisdiction over them. We have different levels of courts. So trial courts are where the original court case is heard. Then if we would appeal, if there'd be an appeal, which many times there is, that goes to an appellate. I can't even say, I'm sorry. I'm struggling with appellate court, if I can spit that out. And then there's federal courts versus state courts. So those are more your Supreme Courts that are going to go up at the higher level. So it has to be over a certain dollar amount. It has to involve people that are in multi-state or corporations that are in multi-states. So those are going to be, the highest level courts that we have. In our state courts, there's trial courts, there's the appellate courts, and then there's the Supreme Court. And then in our federal courts, there's district courts, the Court of Appeals, and then the United States Supreme Court. So the basics of a court case is there are pleadings where there's a plaintiff and a defendant. So the plaintiff is the person who is filing the charge and bringing the complaint to the court and looking for some sort of damages or remedies of some sort. And then the defendant is the person who's responding, and they are, trying to plead their case to reduce those damages or not have any. Either party can hire an attorney to act as their advocate, and then the judge will oversee the court case and make a decision. Then there's a discovery phase where there are depositions where they're going to interrogate different witnesses. They could request different evidence as needed. There can be electronic discovery where they go and they take people's computers and look through their files and look through their internet searches and things like that, or their Facebook pages. You can have a jury selection if it's a trial by jury, and then they go through both attorneys are going to go through their opening arguments. They're going to interview the witnesses and cross-examine those witnesses, and then there'll be closing arguments, and then the jury would go out to make their decision. The alternative dispute resolution, the reason that is so important is because in business and probably in most personal cases, but I feel like especially businesses, people don't want to go to court. Businesses don't want to go to court. It's bad publicity. They really want to resolve it outside of the courthouse. So these are the different ways that they could do it through this alternative dispute resolution. So again, it's more flexible, and like 95% of our cases are settled through this alternative dispute resolution. So there's negotiation where the two parties are just coming together to try to reach terms that they both can agree upon. So that would obviously be the easiest method. If you both can sit down and present your side and what damages you want and kind of come to some sort of an agreement. If that doesn't work, then the next step would be mediation, where again, there's going to be a third party, an unbiased third party who helps the two parties come to some sort of an agreement. So at least there's someone kind of overseeing the process. Then there's arbitration, which is, again, there's a neutral third party or panel of experts, and they're going to hear both sides of the story, and they're going to render a decision. So that sounds very comparable to a trial, except for there's no judge and there's no jury and any of that type of stuff. So it's still a step down below that. And then a newer thing that's happened in the past few decades is online dispute resolution. So that works good where maybe, again, it's people across states, or again, small businesses that don't really want to take on the costs of a whole trial. So those are the ones that you want to kind of understand and know which ones are the easiest and which ones are the hardest.